Welcome to a field of perspectives where ideas take root and conversations grow. I'm Brittany, your host. Each week, we step into new terrain, exploring fresh viewpoints, challenging assumptions, and learning from every walk of life. From personal stories to powerful insights, this is a space where every voice matters. Join us in a field of perspectives. Subscribe now and let's grow together. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone is doing well. I am your host, Brittany. It is so good to see everyone here today. We have a wonderful guest today, Briaunna Sturdivant, where she will talk about mental health in adolescents and young adults, which I am super excited about. I know that's something that we have not talked about, and it's going to be amazing just to hear the information that is needed. If you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to comment, subscribe. We would definitely love to hear your questions. If you are on Facebook, the same. Please make sure that you are commenting. We can definitely hear what you have, what questions that you have, or what resources you're needing in dealing with young adults, especially with their mental health. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce Briaunna. Briaunna Sturdivant is a mental health student studying in clinical mental health counseling, focusing on adolescent and young adults. And let's bring on Briaunna. Hi,
Hi.
Briaunna. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you taking the time out to, bring your expertise in the mental health field. I definitely appreciate that. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you. Thank you so much. So my very first question, of course, is how did your journey into mental health or counseling field begin with the focus on late adolescence and young adults?
Well, my own journey started in therapy when I was a teenager, like 14 or 15,
Hmm.
which I feel like was a really pivotal point in my life. Like I was going through grief therapy at the time. And that just kind of helped show me how, having one person like be able to hear you out, really see you and listen to you, which I feel like I really needed at the time. Just how powerful that is.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been kind of drawn to helping people feel understood and like feeling heard and feeling seen.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And having a good experience with a therapist or counselor makes a big difference. I'm sure there are times some people have been to therapy or counseling and it just wasn't it, and they just gave up altogether instead of looking for the right fit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing that you're using your own life experience to, continue a journey that, that will help others. That's amazing. That's amazing. How do you see self-esteem evolving during late adolescence and early adulthood? What tends to shape it the most in this stage?
Um, I would say like definitely your upbringing for one. Um, and I feel like especially in the Black community, mental health is kind of like frowned upon in a way, or like it's not real, or it's for our counterparts, like it doesn't exist for us. So I feel like a lot of like what you're hearing in your upbringing is important, and also what you're hearing in your social settings as well, like the people that you surround yourself with. I think that social media is also definitely a big part in self-esteem when you're growing up, especially well for us now. um, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, social media is a big one. I'm kind of afraid for my kids to get on social media right now because I'm not sure I'm ready to um you know uh really grasp that around, the self-esteem. That's a tough one because everybody's looking at you and everybody's going to have an opinion. And I don't know how my kids are going to take that and whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. That's a little scary for me right now. And plus they're still young, so it's like oof,
Yeah.
yeah. That social media is a whole nother thing. What role does social media play in shaping identity and self-worth for young people today?
Um, I feel like it could go honestly one or two ways. Like on one hand, it's like connecting. You can, make friends with people that way and like people who have the same interests as you. And I feel like a lot of people get opportunities that way, like outreach in a way.
Mhm.
On the other hand, it's like it can be a place where like comparison can happen and like maybe distraction or like everything that's going on in the world, like, we have it at our fingertips now and instead of, like, having to rely on the news, like, it's so easily accessible.
Yes, agree. That's
But,
that's
yeah, I think that, I think it's important, and I've done this for myself to, like, kind of try and curate your feed. Like,
mm,
I unfollowed all the messy pages and, like, tea pages and everything that has to do with celebrities. Like, I try and follow things that are, like, mental health based and, like, just positive.
mm. So how do you get to that point to not follow those type of pages? Do you have to have something in you, or is it, you're just abiding by something else? Like how does that work?
I think, honestly, it just it just gets to a point where you get tired of seeing it, like, a lot of it is just the same and, like, after a while of, like, seeing how much negativity those pages push out, I
Yes.
don't really want to allow that to enter my spirit, so
Mm.
I had to take it away.
Yes, I like that. I like that. That'll definitely help, just take it away. It's not like you have to you're forced to watch it. But
Yeah.
that's a good idea to take it away, the drama and all. I think, one of my biggest things growing up was I used to love the Real Housewives and things like that, and then Love and Hip Hop, and when I
Yeah.
tell you it was so much drama, it was bringing the drama inside of my own life. And that's a little concerning.
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
stop watching it.
I definitely watched those shows growing up too.
Yeah. I used to be insecure because somebody on TV was insecure. I'm like, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
bring that into my life. Can you talk about any personal or clinical experiences where someone rebuilt their self esteem after a major setback?
I would say, like, for me, um, being a grad student, it's a lot of, like, I still do it, like, it's a lot of comparison, and, I mean, I go to a PWI right now, so I feel a lot of pressure in that way as well, but I just kind of had to sit myself down and realize, like, and this is, like, I'm about to get spiritual. Um, I just had to sit myself down and realize, like, if I wasn't supposed to be there, I wouldn't be there. Like, that
Mm,
opportunity was in my path for a reason.
yes.
Um, and I'll say that that has helped deepen my passion. Like, I feel like I have something special to breathe because I have been in therapy and I know what it's like being the client.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I would say that that has kind of shaped where I am right now.
Yes, I love that you are in therapy and also helping others. You know, I'm in therapy now. When I tell you, it is truly eye opening, truly helpful in the route that I'm going, the journey I'm going. It's amazing. I will not knock it. Prior, yes, I did knock therapy. I was like, the stigma. What do I need therapy for? But
Yeah.
now it's like it's a breath of fresh air. I'm an advocate for therapy all day long.
Yeah, we have to break that generational trauma that we have around
Yes,
therapy.
agreed. Agreed. I totally agree with you on that. What are the most common struggles you see in young adults transitioning out of high school or college?
I do think that that transition period is super tough. I would say just like first of all, confusion about where to go, like, they might feel lost,
Yeah.
after being in high school or school in general for so long. They're probably feeling burnt out.
Mm,
Um, there might be some anxiety around, like, possibly furthering their education, what it'll be like in college, um, maybe some depression.
yeah.
Again, comparison, like, after high school, that's when, I mean, you decide what you're doing. There's gonna be some of your friends that go to college, some that don't, and depending on which route, you might be comparing yourself to them as well. Like, kind of like, I guess, like imposter syndrome, like not
Yes.
really knowing exactly where you're going.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
but yeah, I feel like actual emotional support around that time is kind of rare because, I mean, by the time you turn 18, for some reason, you're expected to know what you're supposed to be doing for the rest of your life.
Right.
So that's a lot of pressure to be like on all the time and not enough space to just like actually figure it out for yourself.
Right. Right. And not to mention your parents' pressure, like them putting pressure on you of what they want you to do. That's
Right.
tough. That is tough. Oof. Yeah, I'm listen, my mom did not have that with me. Like she didn't have pressure. She was just like, "Hey, you do whatever you want to do. Just make sure you do it well."
Yeah.
But I still had that sense of I don't know what I want to do. And that was scary. That was so scary. But, I worked through those feelings of actually, with multiple jobs. Did go to college for a little bit. I didn't finish, but I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And the biggest thing that I did not want to do was get in student loan debt and not know exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't wanna waste money. I didn't wanna waste time, none of that. So, I didn't, I still don't know to this day what I wanna do, but, I'm making things work. That's
Yeah.
that is the hard part. So, getting out of
The
high
student
school.
loans, like, I sometimes I don't know if it's worth it. Like, I know I'll feel different when I have this degree, but
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, this is too much.
Yes, yes. That scares me for some reason. I don't know why. It scares the crazy mess out of me, and student loans don't go away.
No. Mm.
Yeah, that's the scary part for me. So I did not finish college and maybe I will when I finally figure out what I want to do. I just kept changing it within the first year. So I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So and definitely now there's so many things that high schoolers and college kids can do now, because things are virtual. Things are where you don't have to have a degree, and things are a little bit easier than what it used to be, where you had to have a degree. And so I know it's so much harder for people to realize what they want to do now.
Damn.
Definitely harder. That's scary. Why do life transitions like moving out, starting a first job, or ending a relationship feel so overwhelming at this age?
Well, I feel like honestly at any age that's gonna feel a little hard because it's new. It's undiscovered territory at this point. Um, and I feel like sometimes, or what I experienced anyway, like high schools don't really, they like took away all the things that prepare you for that. Like I didn't have any kind of like finance, anything. I like home ec is something that only exists on like TV to me now. Like
Yes.
that just wasn't a thing. I think that if schools started to implement that again, it would feel less scary for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. I agree. I wonder why they took all of that out. I remember I had home ec 1 year and after that it was gone. And I'm like, I enjoyed that. I actually learned how to bake cookies. I might have burnt up something, but I learned, hands-on experience. And just like you said, it depends on how you grow up. you might not have that at home to where they have the time to give you the hands-on experience for things, or the resources or whatever. So it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they took that out of school. Something has to give. Finances is definitely something they need to put back into schools,
Yeah,
because it would be very helpful.
yeah. A lot of us needed to learn how to budget.
Yeah, exactly. That is the truth. Oh my goodness. About credit, about
Yes.
having a home, owning a home. Like that's a lot that they should put back in the schools. Writing in cursive. They don't do that anymore.
I still, I'm working on it. I really,
Yeah. And I'm
they
like,
did
oh
not
my,
teach me that.
right. And I'm like, why did they stop this? This is something that everyone needs every day in life. And it sometimes it may be harder to teach older adolescents how to do it. So that's another thing. I'm like, bring it back. Bring it back. What are some grounding tools or questions that can help someone navigate these changes with more confidence?
I would say creating like structure in your life, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like having, like, making sure, which sometimes it's out of your control, but like making sure that you have that support system. Like,
Mm,
I'm big on like chosen family, so I'm always looking for like people that can become a part of my support system that bring different things to the table for me and can teach me different things that I don't know.
mm,
Um, I also think it's important to have just like, I don't know, like something as simple as a routine, like making sure you're writing things down, making sure you are doing the work yourself, like doing the
mm.
research. Um, but yeah, I think that it's important during those years to like be surrounded by like-minded people.
Yes, the support is real. Support in any aspect of your life is important, especially when you have a goal in mind. You definitely want to be around people that, want to encourage you and, make sure that they're helping you along the journey. Because not having that support, it will be detrimental to your mental health for sure, because you just feel like you're doing this all alone. And who wants to do something all alone? It's not encouraging.
Yeah.
But hey, sometimes it just have to happen. But you have to have that strength to, keep it moving. But yeah, definitely support. I agree with you on that. What do you say to those that are looking for some, you know, what did you call it? Family, what
Like chosen family.
chosen family. How do people come to that?
I would say, like, for me, I make sure that I'm involved in like activities outside of my
Mm,
house, even though sometimes I am a little bit of an introvert,
yeah.
and I get that. But yeah, going out and trying new things, like being willing to try new things, because
Mm,
that's half the battle, being willing. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, whether you like different hobbies, whether it's like, for me, I like roller skate. That's where a lot of my chosen family comes from.
I love
Um,
that.
and then like school, I feel
Yeah.
like is a place where you can build that as well. Um, and yeah, just making sure that you're connected to people and like fostering like meaningful relationships and intentional conversations and
Mm.
like, yeah, just making sure that you're like open.
That's a big word, intentional. Being intentional about your moves is really how you're gonna succeed in your goals. You getting distracted and things like that is not gonna be helpful. So yeah, intentionally finding people that actually are going to support you and help you along the way is very important. I agree with you on that. Oh my goodness. That's a big one. All right. So when you hear resilience, what does that actually look like in an everyday life for a 20 something year old?
For me, being able to power through everything that life is throwing at you in your 20s. Like I still like even though I'm in grad school and I like know what I want to do, sometimes I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing.
Mm,
Um but I feel like the resilience is in me is to keep going regardless of that. Um because you do learn from experience. I'm learning every single day along the way.
yeah.
Um what it takes to be in this field, what it's going to take out of me to be in this field and being okay with that. Like just learning to let what feels like turmoil
Mm.
be my inspiration or my motivation to keep going.
Oh, I like that. Yes. And that's one thing that I've learned is consistency and continuation of whatever you're doing. Oh my goodness. It has taught me that you will see the sun on the other side. It was hard at first, but anytime you're starting something new, it's always hard. Because it's
Yeah.
something new. But oh my goodness, when I continue the consistency, chef's kiss. I love it. What are some common but unhelpful coping strategies that young people turn to, and how can they recognize and shift away from them?
Um, I feel like there's a lot of avoidance. That's they think that that's a good thing, but it's not because the problem is still going to be there.
Mm,
And I don't know. I feel like that's the biggest part though, like not really talking about it, acting like it's not happening, finding other things to kind of like put a band-aid on it instead
mm,
of actually dealing with it.
mm.
Um, yeah, I think avoidance is like the umbrella. There's so many different things under there that they could possibly be doing to avoid
Yes,
whatever they're going through, but avoidance is like the big picture there.
yes, yes. And a lot of times I see a lot of the younger generation would turn towards drugs to get away from
Yeah,
whatever it is.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely avoid when it comes to avoidance. That's one thing that they turn to. And so how can they shift from that? What other strategies can they do to help them with that?
Um, I feel like again, it goes back to like the hobby thing, like
Mm,
finding other ways to fill their time. Um, I also
positive
think
ways.
just like no, literally. I also think that like, I mean, something as simple as like going on a walk or
Mhm.
like journaling, or people really underestimate how much breathing can help as well. Like
Mm,
just like stress management or like I don't know, I use music as a coping skill a lot. It's I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's made harder than it really is. Like
yeah.
sometimes it's really just as simple as even taking a break, like being alone with your thoughts and like actually processing them instead of
Mhm.
like again creating that avoidance.
Right, right. I agree. Oh my goodness, that's the truth. Now, do you have any favorite resilience building practices or rituals that are especially helpful for this age group?
Um I feel like journaling is one of them. But I know that that's not always for everyone. Something else I do is also like I'm big on like self-help books, so I like reading stuff like that as well. That could definitely create some resilience because it's kind of gonna normalize what you're feeling
Mhm.
and give you the answers. Like, of course, we already have the answers within us. Sometimes it really just takes like hearing it from someone else.
Right?
Um, yeah, things like that.
That is the truth. Why is that? Like, I'm sitting here like,
It makes me mad. It makes me so mad.
yeah. Like, I was thinking that, but why don't I feel confident in that when
Yeah.
that is what it is?
And it's so easy for me to like give that advice to someone else, but the moment it's happening to me, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. I know exactly what to do though.
Right, right. Always in your head, and it makes it so much worse. I'm like, why am I that stuck in my head? Yeah, something's got to change from that.
Yeah.
But with therapy, I'm learning that hey, what I feel is what I feel, how I think is how I think, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yep.
Yes. How can young adults start building emotional literacy if they didn't grow up talking about feelings?
Um, I feel like, and this is like work that you're gonna have to force yourself to do is gonna feel hard, but like realizing that you deserve to have that.
Mm,
Um, I feel like speaking up for yourself, saying what you need to say, even if it's just like as simple as, I need a break. I don't have the mental capacity for this right now. Or
mm,
admitting that you're not okay right now. Like
yeah,
setting those boundaries. And I
yeah,
feel like a lot of people feel like setting boundaries is rude, but my favorite thing to say is always like, if you set a boundary and someone is offended by that, that just means that they're not for you.
right,
Um, and I feel like the people who are for you are going to respect that boundary and basically like empower that boundary because it's healthy.
yeah,
I feel like no one should be offended by you self advocating for yourself. It's
right.
just like, it's you expressing what you need.
Mhm, mm. Yeah, and I think with young adults, maybe it's a little harder because they haven't found their voice yet. I know I didn't really find my voice until I was 20 something. So it's like my
I'm
late
still
20s.
finding it.
Yeah, yeah. And setting boundaries can seem, like you said, can seem rude, but it's like you have to know what's best for you, what you can take and what you can't take. You don't want to continue to let someone run over your boundaries and then you're sitting there frustrated. It's like, why?
Yeah. It's
So
easy for you to say, but
yeah,
sometimes I'm still like, I'm still on that line of like kind of people pleasing a little bit, but
I know.
I'm finding it.
Yeah. How do young adults stay out of people pleasing? That's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm still figuring that
Yes.
out. Um, I feel like it really is rooted in like valuing yourself. Like you're not
Mhm.
gonna, and especially like I think one of my favorite things that we do in therapy is like, and what gets people to realize what they actually want for themselves is like, what would your friend say to you in this moment? Like,
Mm.
you don't deserve this. And I feel like looking inward and turning that into your own like self dialogue,
Yes.
yeah, it's
I
just
love
it's just really really hard to actually do.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But, when you get to that age where you like, I don't care if I lose you because my boundary is my boundary.
I can't wait
Oh,
to get there.
yeah. Listen, I have my times here and there, but listen, I will cut it off. I will cut it off quickly because you know how you have so much going on and you don't want to added stress. So,
Yeah,
as a quiet person that I am, once
yeah,
you keep poking me,
yeah,
it's over.
yeah,
It's over. I want
yeah,
no more people pleasing. You've seen a whole different side of me because you're not listening.
yeah, for sure.
Yes. That's definitely hard. People pleasing because you always want to show love and show support to everyone, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. Yes. Now, how? What's the difference between emotional regulation and emotional suppression, and why does that matter?
I feel like emotional regulation is being able to feel that emotion, being able to sit with it and not have it consume you. Like you can be okay with what you're feeling and process that and actually work through it. Um, repeat what you said. What am I?
Um, what is the difference between emotional regulation and emotional suppression, and why does that
Right.
matter? Yeah.
Suppression was the word I was looking for. Emotional suppression really, again, this word is probably gonna keep coming up like avoidance. Like you're gonna act like it's not there. You're gonna kind of like try and turn yourself off from that emotion.
Mm,
You're not sitting with it. You're not processing it. You might feel what you feel in that moment, but you're gonna. I feel like it's rushing the process. And like again with going through grief counseling, I feel like sometimes we only look at grief as like literal death, but sometimes that does come with like circumstances in our life, like
mm.
losing an opportunity, losing a friend, whether it's just like an argument or something that still our bodies for some reason still processes that as grief.
Yes.
Um and so I feel like the suppression in that is just like moving on from it way too quickly. Like you're not going through the stages of grief. You're kind of just skipping to acceptance.
Mm,
So
wow. And so you have to feel it. You
yeah,
have to feel it and, go through those emotions and, don't just skip over it. You have to give yourself grace for taking the time to feel it. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Yeah, ooh, that's a little tough. Dealing with grief, yeah. Losing opportunities, losing a friend, yes, that that will definitely have your body in a state of, oh my God, what happened?
yeah,
And
yeah,
whether your mind is like, oh, we're just gonna keep it moving, you're not really gonna keep it moving because your body is still gonna feel it no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
That's really
goodness.
true.
How can young adults balance acknowledging tough emotions without getting stuck in them?
I don't know. For me personally, I have a thing where I will allow myself because I like to. I'm a feeler. I'm
Yeah.
gonna cry through something. I
Yeah.
feel like after those tears, um, is kind of like I feel like tears bring clarity, and I feel
Yes.
like when you come to that clarity about the situation, like you're gonna know exactly what you need to do and how you need to handle it.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it's important to also like again, this is like personal, but like me writing down how I'm feeling in the beginning,
Yes.
me writing down how I'm feeling probably while I'm crying, and me writing down how I'm feeling after all those emotions have come to the surface.
Mm.
Um, so yeah.
Goodness. Yeah. That's a good way to work out your feelings. Writing it down and going from the
Right.
beginning, middle
Since
to the end.
technology is like super, super big, sometimes I don't feel like writing, and sometimes I might type in my notes on my phone, or I might
Mm.
record a voice message that never gets sent to anybody. It's just in my phone.
Oh, I like that one. I might have to do that recording. I like that because sometimes I don't want to write or I don't want to use my fingers. I just want to just let it out. And maybe you
Yeah,
just letting it out on a recording would be awesome.
yeah,
You're venting and you
wonders.
not necessarily venting to others, but you're just venting. You letting it out.
Yeah.
It's no longer in you. So that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Um, what advice do you wish you could give your 20-year-old self about mental health and identity?
Well, I'm still there. um, mm, I wish I could tell myself to just go with the flow sometimes. Like I thrive in structure and I am a planner. And if my plan doesn't go the way that it's supposed to go, it's not going to be good for anybody. So I
Oh
wish
my
I
goodness.
could tell myself, like, and literally I'm talking to myself right now, like, I wish that I could just, like, again, go with the flow and let life take me where it will. Because, again, like, spiritually, it's not my plan. I have to
Yes,
be okay with things that come up and might be like a barrier or like a hurdle in my
yes,
path because if anything that is going to build that resilience or
right.
help me gain more knowledge that I'm going to need when I get to where I'm supposed to be.
Yes, I agree. Oh my goodness. That was my whole thing. Like, if anything was outside of that calendar that just came up, I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Like, that wasn't on the calendar. I can't do it. Like, I'm just all discombobulated. I'm all over the place. Just you throwing something in there. And I'm like, I had this planned out. Now I can't because I got to do this or do this. I'm like, that was a struggle for me. That was truly a struggle for me. Like going with
Yeah,
the flow
I'm
was not for me.
struggling every single day with that.
Yes, like ugh. I still have my struggles now, but like you said, you're not ordering your steps. God is definitely in the forefront of that, and now I'm just like okay, I'm going with whatever. And most of the time it's for your betterment. Like you said, building resilience, or
Yeah.
also could have been protecting you for not
Yes.
going out. It could have
Yes. My
been
favorite
so much.
thing is rejection is God's protection.
Yes, agreed, agreed, so agreed. I totally agree because oh my goodness, there were so many times that when I was younger that I could have been in a different situation if I did not have that delay or that change in what the structure that I had. Like, oof, so many stories. I could, I am thankful for those rejections or delays or whatever. I am thankful for that because I would not be here today.
Yeah.
Yes, God is good. Now, have you seen a shift in how this generation approaches therapy or mental wellness compared to previous ones?
I feel like this generation is so much more open. Like, I feel like, I mean, I feel like there's still kind of an idea of like talking about your emotions might
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
bother some people. Um, but I feel like a lot more people, maybe not all, but a lot more people are willing to go to therapy, are willing to like be transparent, be vulnerable,
Mhm.
um, because they genuinely want better. And I feel like a lot of that is like pushback from previous generations, like wanting to be different, wanting to be better.
Yes.
And like I said earlier, like kind of breaking those generational curses of like the stigma that's around mental health.
Yes. I agree. Back in the day, they did not talk about feelings or talk about mental health
So,
issues. That was a big no-no.
they
Oh, you all
still
right. They're just like, you
like,
all right. You just need a day or two. You'll be just fine.
yeah.
No.
And there's so much confusion around stuff like depression, like thinking that it's just sadness. Like
Yeah.
that's not what that is.
No. No. No.
That's a symptom, maybe, but that's not what that is.
Exactly. And I'm glad that the younger generation now is more open. That way, for people to really support them, they are, at least saying how they feel, and someone can come back around and say, "Hey, I can help you with this. I can get you this resource," or and people are more open to help now. I love that. People are
Yeah.
more helpful. Um, and there are so many more programs now that can help people dealing with mental health issues. It's not that they're looking at you crazy. They actually want to help you. Yes, so that's amazing. What is one small doable habit you recommend for someone wanting to strengthen their mental wellness? I know you said journaling. I know voice memos and things like that. What what else? What small doable habit do you recommend?
I want to go back to support. Like,
Yes,
I feel like friends are important.
yes,
Community is important.
yes,
Um, because I feel like sometimes without having those blood ties, like they're people on the outside are willing to see who you really are,
yes.
not who they want you to be,
Oh,
or like have this perception of like who you were when you were a kid versus who you are in your adult life, like be stuck in the
yes.
past in that way.
I see
But
that
I
a
feel
lot.
like, yeah, I feel like just having people that you can check in with and have listen to you without judgment. Um, and yeah, like again, the reading aspect of it, like self help kind of things, or like podcasts are really nice. Um, but yeah, I feel like those are attainable, like small.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So when you're talking about support from friends and family and all of that, I think like a little text message just goes a long way, just to tell them how you feel, and they can come back and show how they can support you in that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
that's
agree with
a
that.
good one. And it doesn't take much, just a text message. Hey, I'm feeling such and such, 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 and here's your support, Don't be afraid to open your mouth and, say what you need to say and things like that. Yeah, because
Yep.
your true support is going to be there for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. If someone feels lost in their early 20s, what's a good place to start?
Personally, God is a good place to start.
Ooh,
Um, I feel like
yes.
I feel like um faith is important.
Hmm.
I'm speaking personally. Faith is important
Yes,
at this point in your life just because you kind of need something to anchor you, something to help you feel like still, give you
yes,
that peace and like kind of like serenity that you're going to need to actually be able to think about where you're going in life.
right.
Um, I also feel like obviously therapy.
Yes,
It's so healing. And I don't even think that, there's Christian counselors. You don't even have to separate the two. Like you can do both literally at the same time.
yes,
Um, but yeah, I think having faith is like a foundation.
I agree.
It can help a lot through like all the things that feel tough and impossible.
Yeah, I agree because I tell you, there was a time where I went off the path of my faith and I felt so lost. I felt so lost, but getting back to it, I was like, "Oh, this is everything right here." What was I why did I stray away? What was I thinking? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, having faith, whether whatever religion you have, just, having that person or your God or whoever is so important. So
Mm.
important for you to see mental clarity. I mean, it's amazing. I 10 out of 10. Hey, I agree with you on that. Now, are there any specific resources such as any of the self-help books that you would recommend or any apps or any communities, any specific ones that you can recommend to any young adolescent adults?
Right now, okay, so at my school, Winthrop University, we do have like I work in the community clinic at school, so
Hmm.
anyone can come in and you're being therapized by like us, of course, like grad students, but it's still therapy. We're learning. We're good at what we
Right,
do. But
right.
it's free. Like that's a good resource as far as like self-help. There's this woman. Her name is Mel Robbins,
Hmm.
and she does a lot. I don't know if you've heard this, but her big thing right now is like the let them theory.
Ooh, I seen that
Um,
on Facebook.
and she has like a podcast where she'll talk about any and everything. I think she's a really good source. I love listening to her break things down. Um, there's a book called Emotional Intelligence. That's a really good book. It's like you take a personalized EQ test in the beginning.
Hmm.
And it'll recommend, I mean, you can read whatever chapters you want, but it'll recommend the chapters of like
Ooh,
what you need to improve.
I like
Um,
that.
and I feel like that's a lot. That'll help on that resilience aspect. Yeah, those are my top three right now.
I love it. I love it. I love that y'all have that resource on campus. Now, is that for most colleges or?
I'm not sure. I thought it was cool too, and it's not even just for like college age students. Like we have like fully like 50 plus clients coming in.
Wow.
So
Wow, that's
it's for
amazing.
everybody.
That's amazing. That's definitely going to help, in your search of therapy or, starting, at least starting therapy. That's amazing. Wow. Now, where do you go from here? I know you are a student, so where do you go from here? What are your goals and inspiration from studying this?
Um, well, I have another year left, so I'll be working for free for a little bit longer. But after graduation, I mean, I do kind of want to experience what it's like to work at like like an organization. My
Yeah.
ultimate goal is private practice. Like I do want to own my own thing, but I think seeing the ins and outs of what it takes to run a therapy office, a successful one,
Yes.
um, I think I want to see that first before I dive into just wanting to be my own boss.
Yeah.
Um,
Getting that
but
experience.
yeah, I feel like that's necessary. But yeah, I think I do want to keep that focus on like late adolescence, early adulthood because I feel like it's the most again pivotal point in our lives. Feeling lost and like trying to figure out where to go from there, and I feel like working with someone who specializes in that and has already been through it would help a lot.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Well, Brianna, I truly appreciate you coming on here today to share your expert knowledge and, share resources and information for those that are in need or for those that will need it for someone else to support someone else. And there's that support system thing again. But I truly appreciate you, and hopefully we can get on another podcast later on, see what your accomplishments are, and of course, good luck on your private practice when it comes that time. It's going to be amazing. Listen, I truly appreciate you, Brianna, and I hope that we get to talk to each other again because this is some powerful conversation. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And I hope that you have a wonderful night. Thank you.
You too.
Well, that everyone, that was a wonderful episode from Brianna Sturdivant. And when I tell you, some of those things are needed not only in the youth, young adult, but it's also needed in adulthood. So many times we take on so much and we don't really take the time to value or see what the value is in ourselves. And the mental health is a whole nother aspect of it. But definitely finding your support, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, or whatever, is truly important when it comes to having your goals or supporting your goals. And this was a great episode. I'm so grateful for her, for Briaunna coming on here to share her knowledge and hopefully help someone out there. With that being said, everyone, I hope that everyone have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you on the next one. Every perspective is a seed, every story a horizon. Thank you for walking this field with us. If today's conversation sparked something within you, stay with us. There are many landscapes to explore. Subscribe, share, and keep the conversation growing. Until next time, keep your heart open to the fields ahead.